Hi everybody, it's me Ciscus. Sorry if opening the loading screen, but I've tried to start this video several times and Celes just keeps talking over me. So today I wanted to talk about trust stones or materia as I might be interchangeably referring to them. And this is really because there's a lot of information out there, but it did still take me some processing, some thinking to wrap my head around how exactly I would go about getting my ideal trust stone set up for my TMRs, and at the same time considering the value of the offers out there because there's using your potions to refill and do the 2 times drop rate daily trust stone missions. There are the paid 300 paid vis for a trust stone. So we'll be discussing all of this. So I'll be breezing over the basics. A lot of people have discussed what the stats mean, how you get this, but I will still go through it just real quickly, and then I'll be focusing on the journey to my journey at least, on what I think the steps are to getting your ideal trust master setup. So yeah, and then lastly, I'll talk about farming a bit, farming for pinks and how I would go about getting them. And of course, I'd love your feedback. I've spent some time on this, but I know I could be wrong on some of these things. And so if you figure out that there's something more efficient, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments, and I'll pin your comments and I'll add them to the description. So let's just go through the basics real quick. So trust stones are like materia. If you played FF7, you stick them on the weapon, and you get some stats. You can see here there's additional abilities, and then there's pluses here. So these are from the trust stones, and I've got 6 on right now. In general, you have 2 sides. You have this left side and you have this right side. The right side is offensive. So the way I like to think about this is it's a tag, or it's really close to attack ATG. So yeah, the ATG runes are offensive, and then the JIP. And it's funny because I think this J is like backwards is for justice, but it's backwards. So I call him a JIP. Because I don't like defensive stats, but really, that's just how I try to remember it. Because focusing on defense is a JIP. Because it's a one-shot game, and really in PvP, feels like most of my guys are just getting one shot. But then again, I'm not the best at PvP in this game. But I will work on the pinks just to maybe push myself into good at PvP. So yeah, offensive on the right, defensive on the left. And if you look at a trust stone, we're gonna have to look at a single trust stone here. You have several stats. So the red stat is it's what we're calling its main stat, and this is actually based on the type you pick. So there's several types, and this has been covered a lot. But if you try to forge, say, a offensive stone, you can pick several types. There's a AP type, there's a magic type, there's I think this is a aim type, speed type, so this is agi, and a little bit of evasion and assault. So for each type, you will get a main stat based on the type. So for AP, it's gonna be AP, and there's a minimum and a maximum. The higher the rarity of the rune, the higher the maximum. And if you put 2 or 3, you get more bonuses. So for example, and again, I won't discuss everything, but for example, if you put a full set of assault, you will get 2 buffs. Let's go back to here. You'll get 2 buffs. So for assault runes, if you do 2 assault runes, you'll get 10% attack and the defense piercing rate of 10, or ignoring 10% of their defense. And so there's really no point to doing just 2 if you can go for all 3. And because you can only get because they're split into sides, you can't really do three different sets, and that would also be suboptimal. But anyway, so yeah, just do three, and these are the offensive ones and the defense. Oh, it's all here actually, the offense and the defense. So right now I'm running Spirit and Assault. Assault. Wait, there you go, Assault. So a quick tip that somebody in my guild shared was you load up your PvP TMRs with green ones because they're easy to make. You can farm a few. Although I have been remiss in this, I haven't loaded my other PvP TMRs because the set bonuses are the same and you can get them out of the gate. So, yep, that was a long discussion on main stat. So that was main stat here. Main stat. These four, what we calling them substats or secondary stats, there's the same per letter. So all A runes will have the same, and the rarity will drive the maximum up. And you can actually temper your weapon and reroll the materia and reroll the stats you get here. For pink, it's generally a max of 35 for attack or magic, and if it's accuracy or dex, it's about, I think accuracy caps at 8 or 10, and dex, I'm not actually sure what the cap is here, but it's also rather low. So yeah, some people reroll till they get both the stats they want. So for me, because I'm running attack, I'm not gonna be using bells on magic users. When I got the max attack, I was happy with that. I didn't really reroll for the accuracy. Yeah, so that's secondary stats. You can reroll them with temper, and they're the same per letter. They're different though when you change the letter. So for example, in G, you've got AP, attack and magic and dex, and then for T, you've got attack and magic and crit and dex. So yeah, it's gonna vary, but don't worry, you don't have to check. These don't change. These four don't change. The last and I guess you could call most important, not really. The last stat though, the last feature of a trust stone that we'll talk about is the additional abilities. And these are rolled randomly when you forge stones. So let's do that now. Let's say I forge this trust stone of idealism, and I forge it. You're gonna get this. It's gonna be here. An additional ability is gonna be random. Now you're gonna want to re-roll this until you get the secondary stats that you want. I mean additional abilities you want. And in much the same way that each letter is different, you can only get defensive abilities in your Jip materia, and you can only get offensive abilities in your attack materia. So yeah, that's generally how it works, and those are the basics. For more, there's a lot of content out there on a deeper dive into the stats and the rerolling and what actually can show up here in additional abilities. Do take note that you want to roll a maximum. For example, let's look. I think I leveled most of these already, so it's hard to say. Level 10. Here you go. So accuracy up. You could actually roll this at accuracy up 2 or 3. If you get that, you'd want to re-roll it because you want to get the minimum of 4 so that you can get a higher maximum. So again, this data's out there. You can just check. Cabbage has a good video on this, and the War of the Vision calc also has a trust stone builder, or they call it materia too, and you can see there what stats you should be aiming for and a list of all the stats you can get. So yeah, not here to discuss those basics, but I wanted to run through it as it might be relevant to the discussion moving forward. So how would you build your dream TMR? And so I'm gonna go through the steps that we want to go through. Let's go back. So bells, number 1 TMR in the game. Arguably, I'm sure somebody out there will argue for the sake of arguing, but personally, I haven't used any other TMR more than bells, so it's the first one I wanted to work on. So how did I decide what I was doing here? So one, I guess obviously that's step 1 is pick a TMR, and number 2 is pick your set bonus. So for this, I have decided on assault for my attack, and that means I have opted out of using magic. Granted, you could really make a magic set, slot it on if you're for an entire week, and have your bells be running for a magic user. So that's an option. But for my first, seeing as how there's so little of these pink runes, trust stones, I've decided, going for attack, I generally use this TMR on attack unit. So there. Step 1, pick a TMR. Step 2, pick your set bonus. So here, yeah, I said assault, right? And for the defensive ones, I'm going to be building a. I have decided against spirit. I would rather have HP, so it's applicable to both. But like I said, remember when you're picking this set bonus for the left and for the right, so you're picking two set bonuses. You have to remember that the main stat, the red stat of your rune is based on this red stat is based on the set. So actually, the set bonus indicated also indicates how much of that stat what other stats you're getting from your TMR. Because and I say this because when I was picking the set bonus I wanted, I got blinded by the fact that here we go, the Agi one. The Agi one looked lackluster because it only adds 3 Agi. However, if you do choose the Agi set, your T, A, and G will give you an extra 1 Agi each. So it's also really efficient at the start Agi because the Agi doesn't grow anymore, but you do get the 1 at level 1, so you don't need to level the rune to get all these 3 Agi. But anyway, so it's a 6 total Agi because of the main stat. So for me, attack, because I picked assault, I'm getting 10%. Where is that assault? Sorry. I'm getting 10% here. I'm getting 10%, 10% attack. And then I am also getting 10% death piercing rate because I have 3. And then, since there's 15 attack on each of the main stats, it's another 45 attack, which I think the highest attack units have about 1.5, but in general, it's about 1,000 something. So, what's that? Close to 5% more attack, so it's about 15%. Maybe less, generously a little less. So, yeah, just take note of that when you're picking your set bonus. All right, so that's step 2, pick your set bonus. Next, pick your additional abilities. So as you'll notice, I have a trust stone here, my letter A. My aspiration, I don't know if I want to use that, it's hard to remember. My letter A trust stone for my bells has 2 additional abilities at level 10. So these cap at level 20. You enhance them by feeding them blue and green root trust stones. I keep calling them roots. Excuse me. Which means you can actually have, but when you forge something, you can only have one of them. Like this one, the one we freshly forged only has 1. So what would happen is you would have to forge extras and then transfer them onto the final rune that you're putting, final materia that you're putting on the TMR. And how you do that is you have to get it from the same letter. So to get a second stat on my T, I would have to forge another T, and I'd want it to be pink because yellow and purple and blue and green materia don't spawn the highest possible additional ability bonus. So even if I could get accuracy up on a yellow or less materia, it would never be +4 according to the videos I saw. So you'd have to have another pink, and you'd have to forge until you got it. And because they don't stack, these additional abilities don't stack, they essentially go into the box here. Yeah, they go into the box here. You'd actually want 6 different additional abilities you'd have to pick. So again, step 3, pick your additional abilities. So for me, and there's a list of additional abilities online. Cabbage again has a great cheat sheet for that. But for me, what I picked, since I said, okay, offense bells, I wanted crit damage up, crit rate up, defense piercing rate up, attack up, and so I actually rolled that, attack up, and accuracy up, and AP gain rate up. So actually AP gain rate up, I don't feel like it's great for PvP. It's just because you usually run out. The guy with bells doesn't run out of AP in a typical PvP match. I just couldn't decide on anything else. I didn't want to make it specific to a weapon type or anything or an element. So I figured, yeah, might as well go with AP gain up, because I could use that in raids, where raids and hard content such as selection quest, because AP does run out in that content. So anyway, pick step 3 again. Pick your additional abilities, and go for 6 because you're gonna get 2 on each. And then after that, you can start forging, right? So you're gonna forge a Truststone, and you're gonna pick. What I did first was I forged the set I wanted. So I was forging assault runes. Okay, so you forge. Oh, that's a max dark attack. So you forge until you have forge and dismantle until you get the stats you want. So I forged until I got accuracy up 4. Three of the 6. So once I got the first one I got was attack up 7. This starts at 7, and once I got that, I stopped forging my G. I kept forging until I got critical damage up on my A, and then I finally got accuracy up on my T. So you get the first 3 of the 6 you've picked, the 6 additional abilities you picked, and then that's when it kind of gets expensive because you need a second piece. So I only actually have a second A. I don't have enough to make a second T or a second G. So why do you need a second one? Because this is where you're gonna pick up your next stat. Once you have your first 3 stats, the 4th, 5th, and 6th stat have to come from the specific from another rune so that you can merge them in. So how does merging work? You have to merge from a different type. So for example, this is an assault rune. If I merge, I can pull in from this because it's AP. I ran into this problem while I was trying to forge my first aspiration rune, because I had actually rolled AP up on this A, on the shards from this A rune, but because I had made it assault, I could not transfer it. I could not transfer it in. So you can only transfer if it's a different main type, right? So after you get your first 3, you're gonna start forging for your next 3. And there's a hyper ideal way to do this in my head. You could make runes that are very specific and very versatile. What do I mean? Look at my A Truststone here. I've got critical damage up and defense piercing rate up. Now, technically, it would be better if I had paired this with a critical rate up, because that would mean I could put this A with a magic rune, pair it with a T or a G that's magic focused, and it would totally work. But now this A is only usable by a physical. You can still put it on a mat, but it would be a little bit less efficient. This now is best used by an attack user, so it's not as flexible as it could be. So initially, I had this big plan of having my crit damage up and my crit rate up on the same one, and then my attack up and my defense piercing rate up on the G, and then versatile accuracy and AP gain up on my Triumph. But I realized, considering how hard it was to make these first 3, that I'm not gonna be making a lot of these pink runes. Maybe I'll make five sets for 5 PvP TMRs, and then I'm gonna stop and probably go to yellow. So yeah, you could do that. You could do hyper flexible grouping for your abilities, but I opted not to do it because it'll get harder now that I have 4 of these stats. Rolling one of the 2 I want on a T is gonna get really hard, and on top of that, I have to collect enough shards to make a pink T rune. So a lot of work. They really weren't kidding when they were saying it's gonna take some time to get these. So yeah, that's how you dismantle. You just keep forging and dismantling until you get the the fifth, I guess, at this point, secondary ability you want, and then you keep going. So that's step 6. So let's go through it again. Step 1, pick your TMR. Step 2, pick your set bonus. Step 3, pick additional abilities. Step 4, start forging until you get your base 3. Step 5, favorite them. I guess I put it here. Step 5, favorite them so you don't delete them. And then step 6, keep forging until you can merge in. And again, important, you can only merge in an ability from a rune with from a materia with a same letter, and different main type. Same letter, different main type. So I actually can't forge in this water attack 3 because they are both assault. If you check, let me forge that A again. If I forge this as an assault, I can't get that yellow. I can't forge that. I can't merge that in. See, it's there. Where is it? There it is, but I can't merge it in. But if it's a different type, you can merge it in. Alright? And also same abilities here, so you can't really put attack up twice here. So, and again, this goes in that box, so you don't want, you want 6 different abilities. It goes in this box over here, so you want 6 different additional abilities here per side actually. So that's 12 different abilities, 6 offensive and 6 defensive. So keep forging until you get all 6, and again, it's gonna keep getting harder. I would actually start working on my left side bonuses now at this point before I start going in, and then but actually you can level the materia already once you get your base 3. So actually that's why that's an earlier step for me. Once you get the base 3, you can max it out. As you can see, all of these 3 are maxed out because it will max out your main stat, and it'll max out the possible stats for your secondary with tempering. So after you get to level 20, the maximum attack you could roll for the secondary stats will be maxed at 35 already. So that's why level it already once you get your base 3, and then add in those secondary abilities as you go along. Another thing you can also start doing is leveling the additional ability. So you do that by feeding it runes. I mean materia, and I feed the green and the blue, and sometimes just because I really wanted to do it, I fed some of the purple. But if you'll notice, there's no the greens. They give you 200 XP, and the blues give you 500. So one thing I noticed is if you wanna level the additional ability, you don't have to merge up yet. You don't have to transform your green materia into blue and then feed them. It's actually more efficient to just feed them the green because you get more bang for your buck here. It takes 5 greens to make a blue. So if you had transformed a green into a blue, it would, instead of 1,000 XP, you'd only get 500. So that's one tip I can give you. So yeah, after you forge the first 3 runes with the one first 3 secondary abilities you want, you can level them up, you can temper them, and then you can work on the second additional ability for each of your 3 materia. And it takes a bit, like I said, because you need a second of each letter. So actually at the end of this, I might have an extra T, A, and G, one of each, an extra one of each really, so that I can re-roll that and wait for the secondary ability, additional ability I want. So these such confusing terms. Just wait for the additional ability I want and then merge it on. Always taking note that it has to be a different type. Ideally too, you would have planned out your next TMRs, and if you roll a stat that you like this, critical damage up 4, this is actually really good. I would like to bank this. So if you get stats that you're gonna use for sure on a few other TMRs, you might bank them. Some people might say you can bank them onto a different TMR. I mean a different rune, like ability merge. Blues can't pick up more than one, so it would have to be a yellow. So let's say I dismantle this, and then I forged another one. I could bank this critical critical up, so it has to be different. I could pick up this and bank it. See, I could take it. I can go this far. Yeah, I can say okay, put it here. But it's rather expensive to bank it. Like I can only do this 20 times. So yeah, it's your call. Like I would actually hold on to this because my A is complete. But if that were not the situation, I would be in quite the pickle because I don't know. I want to keep this critical damage up. I do. That is a maximum that will cap out when I enhance this to level 20. Sorry, ability enhancement and feed it to level 20. Expensive. It's rather expensive. The cost to get to level 20 is rather expensive. That's why I stopped at 10 because there are a lot of stats already. This started at 7 and it's now at 13 just getting the level 10. So it'll also take a while, a lot of farming blues and greens to max it. So yeah, in a bit of a pickle, you need the extra one of each. I would keep an extra one of each pink just for producing these secondary stats. Alright, so that's about it. And I apologize for it's all over the place on those steps. But yeah, that's how I did it. That's how I did it. I think it's pretty efficient. If you have better suggestions, do put them in the comments. I'd love to hear what people are doing. But I would also like to talk about farming. So as you can see, I have 5. I can make 5 pink runes. Pink materia. Why do I keep calling them runes? Anyway, how you get about, right? So the missions only drop. The daily missions only drop. Where is it? The Truststone chambers only drop up to purple. They don't drop yellow and yeah, see. So I had a totally scientific sample size of 40 runs, and it resulted in about let me pull up a pen. So I did 40 runs. So, and I apologize, it's the first time doing something like this, but 40 runs, 0.624 pink shards. All right, pink shards per potion. That per L potion, right? So what does that mean? It means it takes about 32 potions. So large potions per pink materia. 1 pink materia, right? All right. So yeah, that's generally what the math is there. Just so you know, right? So and if you can refill 40 times in a day, then you can farm about one a day, assuming the drop rate holds and assuming you have the large potions to feed it, right? Now there are a few things in the store right now, so let's talk about the value of it. There's a 300 paid vis for one. Is it one? Yeah, it's one whole pink materia. All right. If you think about that, they do sell 300 paid vis. Sorry, they do sell a 30 potions for 490 and 490 paid vis pack. And if you consider that it's so what's that? 30 potions, 30 pots plus 490 paid vis. And if you consider this a 60-40s, 33 1/3, let's just say 1/3 2/3 split, the value of 30 potions is about 200. It's not an equals, it's about 245 paid vis, if that's how you see the split, right? There's really no way to look at this. There's no hard and fast way to look at this. 245 paid vis for 30 potions. thereabouts. So it's a little bit expensive, but considering there's a refill cap, and if you're in a hurry, I'm okay. Personally, I have a bunch of paid bis leftovers. I'm okay with it. It's not great. It's not a discount. It's more of a, you can get more whole pink materia now. The other thing that you can see is there are these 15k tickets. I think we can look at them. Where are they? They are in the, they're in the mug shop, really. In the mug shop, you have these tickets, and I've actually bought them. These cost 15k each. Are they worth it? And there's even dailies here. The Final Fantasy. There's a Final Fantasy 14 tombstones. Yeah, here. Oh, they changed it. They caught it. It was daily. For 2 days. This was a daily exchange thing. Is it worth it? I did the math, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But again, just so as a comparison, it was one pot for just the dailies. It's one pot equals 0.624. And an important note here is I'm ignoring the greens and the blues. Only the purples would be converted up to pink, because you do need the greens and the blues to level those additional abilities. Instead of transforming those two into transforming them into purple to eventually become pink, I opted to not include them because I need them to level the abilities anyway. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but it seems rather reasonable to me. Now, in comparison, these things, these tickets here, they are one potion, because you get about 210 medals or 210 tombstones. One potion is equal to 1.7 pink shards per potion. So a little bit better, only if you do need the other drops. What do I mean? Like, I actually don't need anything that drops from the Final Fantasy quest. I don't need the material. I don't need the so this is the daily quest, and this is the medal exchange. Yeah, I know this is totally unhelpful. I don't need anything from the Final Fantasy quest anymore, so I'm not gonna be doing it. But I did buy the tickets because I was farming recipes for the new weapons for the new characters from the collaboration. So they are slightly more efficient, but only if you need the other drops. Because like I said, you do need the other drops here, the green and the blue shards, so that you can make materia, so that you can feed it to improve the ability. Alright, so I hope that was a bit about the farming and how I'm looking at it. So what am I doing? I'm gonna be farming the weapon quest some more until I get enough recipes. I am going to be farming. There's also tickets available here, so as you can see. I'm gonna be farming the raid revival as well, because there's a bunch of missions. I haven't done that, and then when I'm done, I'll be checking if the exchange rate justifies it. But I would still go for the weed, of course, first, and then I'm not gonna get the Rainbow Awakening. I might consider some of these pots, but in general, they're okay. They're okay for an exchange so long as you need the other things you're getting from that exchange or from that mission you'll be farming. They're okay, slightly better, but they won't give you anything for leveling the abilities themselves when you get it. Alright, I think that's all I wanted to say about farming. And just so there's a quick recap, it's 32 potions per, more or less, for a single pink materia. And that tracks the 300 paid dailies for one pink materia are okay, little less little under market price, but still close enough that I personally considered them. The 15k tickets also good so long as you don't want anything else from the exchange and you do need the extra materials. But also okay, nothing great or amazing exchange rate wise, at least for me. And so yeah, I won't be farming Final Fantasy 14 anymore, but I will get the recipes I want and I will finish the missions for the Shadowbringers. They're here. Missions for the Shadowbringers. Oh my, they're here. And then once I have the recipes, I'm just gonna be blowing my energy on the daily shard farm and focusing on the times 2, because the drop rate I did state was just for the times 2, so it's really not worth it to farm. For me, it's not worth it to farm on a times 1 day. I just wanted to show the Shadowbringers mission. Yeah, here. So until I finish this, I'm gonna be doing raid boss revival, and then I'll see where my medals are at, and so decide what I'm doing for exchange. Long term, I am going to be deciding on 5 top PvP equipment. And again, this is for my use case. I'm not the greatest at PvP, but I do try. I of course started with bells. I am looking at zombie mask. I am looking at, can I favorite this? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start favoriting. I'm looking at zombie mask. I am looking at circlets for PvP, PvE, bells. I do like Ranan's TMR, but I might be blinded by the fact that it's so good. But I don't know if everybody can, I don't think everybody can use it. So yeah, but I'll put it up there. I am looking at this, definitely considering this. I guess step 0 is unlock all of these. They require the book that matches the TMR's user, and of course you do it in sequence. You have to unlock each one like this. No, it's 50. I don't know if the cost goes up. Yeah, it's 50 each, so it's about 300 books. So yeah, you have to unlock them all. That would be step 0, I guess. People use the wolf hairband, but I don't use it anymore. I like clouds, but that's because I'm an F7 stan. I do like princess fatigues, even if it limits options on the armor. I do like, although on apron, I haven't picked my tank TMR, if I even go with one. So yeah, I'm still deciding. Glinting armor shows up a lot in these high-tech chain turn setups. So yeah, I like that. Dragon mail also pretty good for me. What does this do again? Yeah, raises agi, and of course, if you're talking about raises agi, I am considering Mama Helena's TMR, but yeah, it's still a bit of a road ahead anyway. No rush, because, well, like I said, if you have a plan and you're dead set and you're pretty sure on which TMRs you really feel are the best, then definitely it would be ideal to decide the additional abilities, so that if you roll them, you can bank them. Granted, it's really hard to bank additional abilities now because we don't have a lot of pink materia. So yeah, it's a bit complex, but I hope I helped you somewhat, at least see how you want to think about doing this. Do comment if you enjoyed, or if you didn't enjoy. Sure, I'd like to hear some feedback. It took me a while to do this. My first time doing this really long form content, and I know I did the low budget version because I have no slides. I was just showing you the screen. But if you feel like my analysis was worth it or worth listening to, I'm happy to start putting more time into these. So yeah, do tell me what you think. And Ciscus signing off.